IGs asked me to come and join him. I think it was a big mistake.
One of the pressing issues shaking the foundations of justice is the independence crisis facing Independent Policing Oversight Authority, or IPOA. Tasked with holding Kenya's police accountable, IPOA is struggling to maintain its credibility. From a controversial press conference to systemic challenges, let's unpack what's at stake for Kenya's fight against police impunity.
I have a brief chronology.
On June 9, 2025, IPOA chairperson Ahmed Issack Hassan stood alongside Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and Deputy Inspector General Eliud Langat, whose name has been implicated in the murder of Albert Ojwang, to address the deaths of the same blogger who died in police custody. The image of IPOA's head sharing a platform with police leadership shocked many. Former Nairobi town clerk Philip Kisia called it a betrayal of IPOA's mandate, saying it undermined public trust in the authority's independence. At an International Justice Mission event on Monday, Issack Hassan has apologized, describing his presence as purely coincidental. He said he was visiting Central Police Station when the briefing was called and admitted it was a big mistake. But for Kenyans demanding accountability, the apology hasn't erased the doubts.
I went there to go and actually look at the cell, and I was so disturbed. And I never planned to be with them in the police conference. The IGs asked me to come and join him. I think it was a big mistake. I think which should not have happened, and I explained that to Parliament that we apologize for that. We should not have actually appeared with them.
Was this a misstep or a sign of deeper cracks in IPOA's independence? Let's dive into the first major issue: political interference. Critics, including Senator Okia Omtata, argue that IPOA's leadership is stacked with government-aligned appointees. This perception stems from IPOA's track record. Despite investigating hundreds of cases of police misconduct, successful prosecutions are rare. Many Kenyans feel IPOA is too close to the state it's meant to oversee, raising questions about its impartiality.
Delayed justice is not merely a procedural failure. It is a betrayal of trust. For survivors and families, every day without resolution deepens their trauma. Consider the mother who waits years for answers about her disappeared son, or a widow who faces intimidation while seeking justice for her husband's unlawful killing.
Next, IPOA faces structural and legal hurdles. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority Act, which governs IPOA, lacks provisions to shield it from external influence. Experts have called for amendments to grant IPOA stronger investigative powers and true autonomy. Right now, IPOA can only recommend prosecutions, leaving convictions in the hands of a slow judicial system and an often uncooperative Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. Then there's the issue of police resistance. IPOA's investigations are often stonewalled by the National Police Service. In the Albert Ojwang case, IPOA revealed that CCTV footage at Central Police Station was tampered with, obstructing their probe. This isn't isolated. Police frequently fail to provide evidence or submit misleading information, making accountability a steep uphill battle. Funding is another crippling challenge. IPOA operates on a limited budget, restricting its ability to conduct thorough investigations or pursue cases effectively. Without adequate, interference-free funding, IPOA struggles to fulfill its mandate, leaving Kenyans questioning its impact.
The police need to learn lessons from public order management, including from previous public order managements. IPOA calls for the Inspector General of Police to ensure full compliance with all legislative frameworks in place to procure and get public confidence and trust in the service.
Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.
Perhaps the biggest blow is the public's growing distrust. High-profile cases like Ojwang's deaths have fueled skepticism. Critics, including activist Conrad Kulo, point out IPOA's struggles to investigate serious allegations like abductions due to police obstruction. Hassan's press conference blunder only deepened this crisis, with social media users questioning why IPOA's head appeared to align with the police. This brings us to the debate. Should IPOA be reformed or disbanded? Some, like Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmas Barasa, argue IPOA unfairly targets police and should be scrapped. Others call for reform, strengthening IPOA's powers, redesigning Kenya's penal code to address colonial policing legacies, and improving police training to curb impunity.
You cannot do that. IPOA cannot come and tell us that they have arrested people and they are prosecuting people for murder when the central suspect has not written a statement to date. How do you determine then who should be taken to court if you've not interviewed Eliud Lagat up to now? Mr. Speaker, there is nothing like stepping aside in law. I invite, Mr. Speaker, that we look at the National Police Service Act, we look at Section 17, we look at Section 95A. Under Section 17, the President can remove the DIG, can retire the DIG, or can redeploy the DIG. None of those can be done by the DIG themselves. Under Section 95A, the disciplinary process can only be done by a disciplinary committee of the National Police Service Commission. You cannot discipline yourself by saying you've stepped aside. What does that mean in law? Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest that this whole issue is a charade.
That by early next week, the investigation file with a recommendation to charge various suspects will be ready. The authority appeals for calm and assures Kenyans that in the quest for justice in this matter, there will be no sacred cows. Anyone found culpable will be prosecuted.
Despite the criticism, IPOA insists it's independent. CEO Elema Halake has stated there's been no interference in cases like Ojwang's, and Hassan has rejected claims that IPOA covers up police misconduct. Yet, the gap between these assurances and public perception remains wide.
Police violence has become embedded in the architecture of public order management. IMLU's data, which draws on medical and legal assessments, eyewitness accounts, autopsy findings, and expert testimony, reveals a chilling consistency in police behavior during political events across multiple administrations. Whether in the aftermath of the elections of 2017, the cost of living protests of 2023, or the Gen Z mobilizations of 2024.
Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya states that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. This report therefore points to the urgent need to safeguard the provisions set out in the Constitution of Kenya.
So what's next for this IPOA? Rebuilding trust will require more than apologies, strengthening legal frameworks, securing independent funding, and ensuring fearless investigations are critical steps. For Kenyans, the stakes are high. IPOA's success could determine whether justice prevails over police impunity. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.